Hey, it's Andreas from eSurfer from the test center in Berlin. It's a beautiful day in June, and we have visit from Sweden today. You can see already a few of the boards which they brought with them, and I'm really looking to these two eFoils, the Wingers from Awake. And yeah, with me are Flo and Isaac. Please say hello.
Hi, I'm Flo from Awake, and I'm happy to be back in the Berlin jungle here for a ride, so it's going to be very fun.
I'm Isaac, also here from Awake, all the way from Stockholm, Sweden, and super excited to be here and gonna ride a bit today.
Sounds good. Okay, let's have a closer look to the boards. Hey Flo, tell me a little bit about the Winger and how you came up with the decision to also develop an eFoil.
I mean, Awake is making electric surfboards since now 2017, so it's been 5 years already, and we're riders in the company, and it came naturally that we want to have various experience. It's not only one way to enjoy the water. So it was kind of the next step for us to be able to have our flex battery and use this same battery to power different jetboards, eFoil and electric surfboard at the same time with the same battery. So this is our offer today. That's why we developed Vinga, is to be able to let our customers the choice to ride any kind of board with the same gear.
Hey Flo, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the technical specs of the Winger.
Yeah, of course. The board by itself is a 4.6 foot, so it's 140 centimeters. So it's quite a short board, but it's quite wide with a higher buoyancy, so it's 60 liters, which is going to help a lot when you're starting on the board because you glide quite well already when you want to get to planning speed. But it's still very short, so which means that when you're riding in the air, you're not annoyed by a big board, so it's much more agile and comfortable. We have a 70 centimeter mast for us. We have been trying a lot of different sizes. 70 is the size we came with, which is the best ratio between having a playful eFoil and also a safe one, which means if you go too high, after you have a higher probability to hit the wings if you fall. And if you go too low, after you touch the water much more, so you can play a bit less and turn a bit less. So from all the testing we've done, 70 was the best ratio for us. After we have a jet eFoil, which is it's a different approach of eFoiling. It has a different motion and a different feeling when you're riding, let's say, because with the jet you have the truss which is moving forward, so it's a bit smoother. We're going to come back to that a bit later and see it a bit more closer as well. And after we're going to have two different sizes of wings, 1800 and 1350, which is cruising wings at the moment. There's a powder wing, so they're very stable, but still allows you to make good turns through the jet as you have a lot more balance on it. You can have something a bit more playful with the wings, so you'll see that in the water today.
Thank you. And I think next we will see, how actually your quick release works. Is this correct?
Exactly. Actually, we came with the idea of having an eFoil without screws to connect the mast to the board. It's come from this idea that we have the click system for our batteries in the Ravic, where you don't have any arch, cable, or hose. It's directly a snap-together system with an handle. And we wanted to create the same for the eFoil, because on foil it can be very time-consuming, and you lose the screws, and you have always something wrong with cables. So we just wanted it to make it simple for the riders. So that's what we came up with for the Vinga. We call it the click-to-ride system, and you can try it yourself. So to disconnect the board now, you're going to pull this small red locker and then pull up the handle, and you can take the board off. There is no electronic in the board, and you have the connector here connected to the mast, and to put it back, you just approach it to the connector this way, slide it together, and press the handle down, and it's connected again.
This was pretty easy, and the board is really light, so I like it. I just do it one more time because it was really interesting. Okay,
yes,
it's easy, and you just put it inside. That's
ready
it.
to go. And for the battery, it's exactly the same batteries and for the Ravic, our flex battery. So you have this big connector here. There are no cables, no cooling, no arch. This is what we want for a rider, so you can just insert it and click it in place.
Okay, let's give it a try. This was easy. Let's get it out.
Yep.
Done.
And you put the next one to go back in the water.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, there's already a Revit review for me, and you could read that I really like the quality of the board. So the Vinga is following the same DNA. It looks very similar. You only have one color code. It's white and black and red. Yeah, and I personally like it very a lot. Also, this one is really new, and it's again red, so it fits to the board. I see you also have the same contacts with gold, which you can exchange actually. If there's some corrosion, you don't need to change the entire plug. You just can disconnect the pins. And yeah, I see you also have optional foot straps, right?
Yes, exactly. So on the board you have a ray to insert the foot straps, and you have also the ray that used to be for the Ravic as well, for the front foot. So you can take your Ravic battery, put the strap here, put it on your board as well, and then ride with strap. Is that what you want? And it's different. I personally like to ride strapless sometimes, with straps some other times. Some people are pro foot straps all the time. It really depends on your personality and your mood. So like this, you have choice, and it's a bit modular for everybody.
Okay. I mean, how would you describe, and I'm very much looking forward to try it in a couple of minutes. I mean, how would you describe it from, is it more aggressive, sporty board, or is this something which everybody can ride? I mean, how would you position the board right now?
I mean, it is a board that everybody can ride. It's a board that you still need some learning curve to ride it, so you need to spend some time to find the right balance between speed and control to fly. But I mean, with the two different sizes of wing, if you have the bigger wing, you can fly at quite lower speeds, so it makes it very accessible. And actually, the jet is so smooth that it really helps when you're learning. But it's still a board that you want to use to be playful with. So it's for people who want to challenge themselves and grow with the board and improve and so on. So it's not a huge board that you're just going to fly in 2 minutes and after you're just going to fly straight. It's a board that you will learn a little bit on it. Maybe it's going to be more challenging the first 20 minutes, but once you get the hang of it, you can improve for the next 2 years. And that's the thing that we wanted to create. It's a lot in the DNA of all the Ravics already series, and that's what we do at Awake. So it's, I mean, as you know already now with your experience with Jet eFoils, it's a different balance and riding on it and feeling when you're riding. It's a bit smoother. So this is something you feel even more with our Jet, which is pretty big. It helps you a lot when you're starting.
Okay, it's a good point. Yeah, you make a good point. Yeah, the size is pretty small. It reminds me on, you know, an Ultra or Pro board from Lift or Flight board. It has similar volume. We put it next to an Audi e-tron smaller board earlier. But yeah, let's talk about Jet and the wings. And I think we turn it upside down for this. So tell me a little bit about the wings and the jet propulsion.
Yes, so to start with the wings, we will go out with two sides of wings for the cruising wings. So the Powder 1350, which is this one, which is the smallest one. It's let's say made for lighter people or for people who want to ride a little bit more aggressive already with the cruising wings. And we're going to have the 1800 as well, which is going to be more for like heavier people, riders, or as well for people who are looking for more stability for the first tries. Because
one thing I like, it's not sharp at all, right? There's no really sharp edges like you could see on some of the other wings. So this seems to be pretty safe.
Exactly. I mean, on the Vinga, a lot of the engineers have been working on safety through the wings. The mast as well is not so sharp. You can touch. We have the Jet, where you don't have any sharp parts or area where you can cut or anything. So it's really made for safety, because that's what we wanted in the foil. Even more with cruising wings today, there is no need to have sharp wings when you want to do cruising. After, if you go to more high aspect wings, maybe we're going to have some sharper wings, of course, to have more efficiency. But right now, with the shape and what you're looking for when you're cruising, it's no need to be so sharp. So at least if you have contact with the wing, you're not going to hurt yourself so bad.
Okay.
After, to come to the jet, it's basically a mini jet of Ravik, which you can recognize a lot the DNA of the Ravik jet here, with the engine in the middle, which links to the jet here. It's quite big jet. So it provides a lot of control and a push forward, which when you foil is very different from open propeller, because an open propeller tends to shake a bit more water. This one keeps the water together and have a straight push forward, which is a different feeling when you ride.
So from my users, I get a lot of questions about if seaweed is a problem for a jet propulsion. And I personally, I'm riding a Jetboards and also eFoils with jet here in this area, and right now we have a big seaweed problem. My experience is that it's kind of similar with propellers and seaweeds, not seaweeds, propellers and jet propulsions, because most of the time it's on the wing or the mast. So this is the main problem usually. Yes, sometimes it can get on the motor, and yes, you might get faster to the propeller. On the other hand, this inlet is much smaller, so there's maybe less risk that something gets side. Did you have any experience with seaweed so far?
I mean, actually, we've been riding in some places with a lot of seaweed, in some rivers. Here you have a small grill in the intake, which are going to protect a little bit from seaweed to get through. Of course, it will happen if there is too much seaweed and it gets stuck. If that would be the case, most of the time you can take it off with your fingers. It's quite easy, you have access if you really put them in. Or, worst case scenario, if it's really stuck, you can unscrew the nozzle and the stator here, and then you have access to the propeller and take everything off. It's fairly easy to do, and everyone can do it in 5 minutes process, so it's not an issue.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I guess the answer to the question is it's almost no difference between propeller and jet propulsion. Seaweed can be a problem, but it's the same for every eFoil and potentially jetboard. Okay, your click to ride system, yeah, I notice that it is really stiff. You could imagine if it just clicks in that it might be loose, but it's really stiff. So I guess you worked a lot on it.
Yeah, actually the engineering team have been working a lot of time on the stiffness of the whole system in general, like not only the click to ride, but also the engine and the wing and stuff. So we have a very stiff foil because that's the secret to have control and the best ride experience. You can see this part, for example, here. This had been added up during the process because we were seeing that with a lot of strength and heavy riders of jumps, it was stressing a lot the system. So we have added some strength to it. So we make sure that we have something very compact, and that when you ride, you have a very quick and efficient response from the foil under your feet.
What is the maximum rider weight for the Vinga?
Today we say 110. Of course, it should be a bit more. We had a 120 kilo rider last week, so we're still in the process to increasing it step by step by having more people on it. So the board by itself can power much heavier weight than 120, but as a manufacturer, this is our maximum weight rider.
It's in the range. Some companies say 100 kilos, some say a little bit more, so you're on the range like others.
Yeah, I mean, you can just take for granted that any Awake board will be able to power heavy riders, because we have tall Scandinavian guys in the team, and the board has developed for them to be able to jump and ride quick and turn sharp. So if you have an Awake board, you can be sure that you can ride whatever your weight is. So now with the new hand controller, you can pair it to any of your batteries. So for this, you just put the power leash in your battery, then you go inside the Awake app. You're gonna see your battery appearing, you click on it. You have this feature called Pair HC on the top right corner. Then I'm gonna start my hand controller. Then I'm gonna press again, so I have a QR code appearing here, and I'm just gonna put this through my screen. Up, nice pairing. Up, everything has reconnect, and now my board is ready to go.
Hey Flo, thank you for coming. We had a fantastic day on the water, about 20 test rides, and of course we were testing ourselves. I really enjoyed to ride the Vinga. I was absolutely silent. Just a few minutes ago when it was not so noisy here, I realized how silent it is. And yeah, what do you think? We had a great day, huh?
Yeah, thanks a lot for receiving us. It's been a blast, as always, here. And a lot of new people, new wakers on board today for the first time on a jetboard, on eFoil. Some of them just testing new boards. So it's always cool to have new riders in the team, thanks to you developing that. So next time for more demos and more riding.
Okay, see you.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.